Hello everyone, welcome back to Football Fundits and to this segment, the FPL Fundits. That was quite a high scoring first game week that just went by. Pretty much a lot of picks working out, a lot of differential picks working out, right? A lot of different team combinations. We got to see a lot of different team combinations. The template teams did obviously do well, but hey, just quick word of advice: don't rely on always getting those high scores week in week out, especially the first time managers. Things do tend to get trickier sometimes. Thank you so much for showing the love in the last few episodes. We've reached a good number of views. We're getting in the subscribers. So before we move ahead, please make sure, if you are not a subscriber, hit on that subscribe button and hit us up on our Instagram and on Twitter. We'll also be releasing this episode on Spotify and if possible on the Apple podcast as well, but Spotify for sure, for all you FPL managers who don't like the whole video part of it and would happily listen in on a drive to work or elsewhere. Alright, in this episode we're going to talk about player picks for this game week, players on the radar, should you make a transfer, should you not, the different kind of options you'll have, and I'll kind of make you have a look at what your team could look like with those possible transfers, and obviously the differentials and captain picks for this game week. The mini league is heating up. We already have about 180 FPL managers on the mini league. Make sure you join us. The winner will get a home jersey for the next season. Hit us up for that on our Instagram and Twitter. You must follow us on those platforms and also be subscribed to the Football Fundits YouTube page, so do not miss out on that. So this is what my team looks like going into the game week so far. Alexander-Arnold, Shaw and Soufal in defense, with Sanchez as my keeper. Bruno, Salah, Barnes and Jota in midfield. Antonio, Tony and Wilson complete the team and are my attack. So far, Salah has the captaincy armband, but I'm nowhere near decided. I still think it's only between Salah and Bruno. But when we're discussing the captaincy bit in detail, I'll give you a few other options, potentially differential captain picks, right? On my bench, I have Steele, obviously, that's just a backup. Amarte, who may not possibly have a starting spot, with Vestergaard looking like he might take it from him. Gilmore will be a starter, but definitely just on my bench right now. And Weltman, who's definitely out for this game week since he is still in isolation. Obviously, I have a few thoughts, right? I could potentially just bank a transfer. That's what I'm leaning right now, and use two transfers before the international break. Although I think of it this way, making two transfers before the international break and potentially losing those players and having to then wildcard coming into game week 4 if I have a decent squad going in. So those two thoughts are kind of at war with each other right now. So I could just make a transfer right now, but I'll talk more about it as we look at the players on the radar and the differential picks, right? But yeah, this is just a quick look at what my team looks like. Good, decent game week 1 score, 96 points. Obviously, a lot of them hit the century mark, so congratulations to everyone who hit 100. Very good start to the FPL, I say, and hopefully the season continues on that good note and we don't see too many blips like we did last season. Moving ahead, like talking about the players who are on my radar, right? And there might be some overlap with differentials, but Son is a player who I didn't go in, right? And let's talk about the players who were in my team before the deadline, before game week 1, but who didn't make it. Son, honestly, I knew he's going to score. When I say I knew, it was one of those things where you just see in the stats, right? You've seen Son scoring against City in the home game against City for Spurs last few seasons. Those goals on the counter and exactly kind of what we saw. Shaban shot outside the box going in. Yes, Spurs did look threatening, didn't have much of the ball, but when they did, they looked threatening. But just Son had that feeling that he could thrive without Harry Kane, right? But I look at my team and I look at the fact that I had absolutely no bench strength coming in, and with Weltman not playing in the end, having a Soufal there coming in, getting me those points did prove to be of use, although Soufal just got a solitary point, right? So for that game week purpose, just having Son and no defender would have got me more points. But he's definitely back on the radar for me. I do have a feeling, looking ahead, yeah, the fixtures are a bit up in the air, right? If I had to be honest about it, but they play Watford right now, and they also tend to have Sorry, so they play Wolves and Watford, Crystal Palace. They tend to always have a different style of play, like I was trying to get to, when they play against side who sit deep, right? Versus the side like City were attacking and they were just relying on the counter. So am I tempted to, make that move for him? Well, it's possible taking a -4, and I'll show you that later on when we're doing the live transfers. But maybe I'm okay letting Wolves go, taking a call for Watford before the international break, Crystal Palace after. Chelsea is that one game where I think maybe I'll have to just take my licks, but then Arsenal, Villa, Newcastle, West Ham, decent run for me, right? And by then, obviously, Kane's situation will be sorted. So, although I think I really do want him, not maybe right now, but he's definitely on the radar. Greenwood, obviously, I was kind of battling that choice, Greenwood or Jota, right? I went with Jota only because I did not know exactly where Greenwood would start. Will Marshall start up top? Wouldn't he? The answers were kind of almost clear before the deadline, but I still was a little confused. So I felt with that Jota at least for game week 1 and 2 would be the safer option. Obviously, Jota going off the way he did 60th minute, getting us just that extra 1 point, the slowest walk possible, right? Might not start both the next game, both of the remaining games for the international break. Could definitely be Firmino starting those games, but I do think there is merit to consider Greenwood, especially with there's no clear-cut sign on Cavani. He definitely will miss, I think, one more game week. So if you have Greenwood, hold on to him. If you're considering taking Jota out right now, he's already worrying you. I think Greenwood definitely is the way to go over there. So United have those easy fixtures as well, right? United currently have a good 5 more fixtures to come, with Southampton being the one we play this weekend. Then it's Wolves, Newcastle, West Ham, Villa, Everton, Leicester. I think you could see him at least playing till game week 4 at the way things stand right now, or as they stand right now. If Marshall gets fit a little sooner, you could see some rotation, but he would still probably get minutes off the bench. He could get in those goals for you. So if you have him, definitely hold on to him. If you don't, and you are worried about, or you want to make a switch and you don't want to look at your SARs or Benramas, definitely Greenwood is a worthy shout out. When it comes to Rafinha, again, I looked at Lee's assets only after game week 4, right? That's how I've been telling you, everyone who's asked me on the episodes before. It's because it's Everton, Burnley, you do see them doing well there. Liverpool, and then after game week 4, so game week 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it's a great run if you ask me. Newcastle, West Ham, Watford, Southampton, Wolves, Norwich, right? So for me, he is worth a shout, and I think I won't be, even if he gets a goal or two or an assist, and the mad people who have him surely hold on to him, right? I don't think he's one to take out. He could have definitely had a goal, if not a goal and an assist for sure against United. So I would definitely hold on to him. But even if I do make a transfer this week, I don't think Rafinha will be it. Probably Rafinha on the radar for game week 4 and 5 onwards. Now, Richarlison starting obviously surprised a lot of managers. The press conference came in, last Friday, that he will be starting. James is still out for this week because of COVID. So that kind of does pique my interest in Calvert-Lewin, right? Everton, obviously, we've discussed that the fixtures clearly weren't the problem. They have a great run of fixtures. The only issue that was who starts and how will they look, right, under Rafa Benitez. They started off on a shaky note, but they got the result in the end, right? 3-1 win at home. Couldn't ask for a better start. Leeds, again, you could see them getting goals there. So it's Leeds, Brighton, Burnley, Villa. So Norwich after that till game week 6. So at 8.0, if you don't have much faith in Ings and you don't want to move for Bamford and you think you're done with Ings, you want to take him out. Although I would not consider that after just one game week. I think Calvert-Lewin is becoming a safe pick, and if not Calvert-Lewin, definitely the man to watch is Richarlison. My only worry is the fact that he's played so many minutes in the off-season, at the Olympics and the Copa America. Will he be starting these coming 3 games? Will they start him off the bench? Did they just use him for the first home game to get momentum going? Which is why I think maybe Calvert-Lewin at 8.0 definitely would be the safer bet over there. Again, De Bruyne now. He hasn't trained as per Pep and the latest update we have so far, but he was in line to probably be on the bench or get a start this weekend, right? And getting a start against Norwich obviously would be great. Wouldn't jump on him this week, but 12.0 if you want a City asset in there. Mahrez you think is not doing a good job after the first 2-3 game weeks. Not sure about Grealish. Foden confirmed won't come back till game week 4 at least. De Bruyne, you need to figure out how you want to get De Bruyne into the side. Definitely, if you want your City assets like De Bruyne, Salah, and Bruno at United, if you want those trio, I don't think a Lukaku or Kane will be definitely possible there, especially holding on to a Trent in defense. So kind of things you have to work on, right? So keep them on your radar right now, see how they're doing, look at the minutes, see what Pep's talking about them, and just kind of work on the assessment you have of him, right? Benrahma kind of is what I would see that bandwagon move right now. If you obviously have him, hold on to him. He looked very good, very threatening. Anyone who asked me who had Souček in their side, I told them switch to Benrahma. Souček obviously got the goal. Albeit a little lucky off it, but he was looking threatening on headers as well. I would say hold on to both of those, right, if you are Souček as well. But Benrahma definitely hold. Should you go in for Benrahma? I think if you do have Antonio already, maybe you can go without him for this fixture. Leicester, kind of tough fixture. They don't look like they're going to concede too many goals. But yeah, I've said that about Leicester only one time in the past and they conceded 4. After that, they have Palace, Southampton, United, Leeds. So the fixture run is decent-ish till they play Everton and Tottenham there, right? You can, like I said, if you are worried about Jota and Jota is the only one you would consider taking out and you want to put in money in the bank, work up to your Lukaku's or even up to a Vardy if Vardy's on your radar, right? I would definitely think a 6.0 Benrahma there is possibly worth considering. 6.1, sorry. His ownership has gone up to 10%, so he's not really a differential anymore for the definition, but still relatively low ownership, right? Even compared to Harvey Barnes, who's still at about 12%. Although his ownership is going down, we could potentially see a price fall, which might not work out too well for me. But more about that when I get into the segment. So these are a few of the players I'm considering, right? Obviously, the ones I'm not mentioning here, Paul Pogba, his price has gone up to 7.6, 4 assists, right? One of the, I think probably the 8th or the only 9th players who's a Premier League record over there as well. It's just that we've seen so many sides of Paul Pogba that I must still insist that if you're thinking of if you don't have Greenwood or Pogba, I would still say Greenwood would be the safer pick, especially assuming you're going to keep him until at least game week 5-6. I would say Greenwood is a safer pick, but if you want to make the most of a streak right now and you feel like risk and you're a brave manager, go in for Pogba if you please. And similarly, like I said, Richarlison for Calvert-Lewin as an option over there. Apart from that, I don't have too many players up on my radar. Chelsea assets are there, but I probably definitely won't be bringing them in before the international break. So I'll talk about them more probably around game week 3 at preview or the game week 4 preview. Let's quickly now move on to the differentials per se, right? Spoke about Sarr last week and his ownership is at 5.1%, so he just kind of makes the cut for me. Definitely looked very good in the last game. Could have had more than a single goal. Fixture run is great. It's Brighton, Tottenham, Wolves, Norwich, Newcastle, Leeds till 7. So obviously a very good fixture run over there. So not much to worry about over there. Definitely see him getting some more action. So he's one to consider for me for a Jota replacement. Buendia did have a good game. Obviously it wasn't enough to help the team in the end, but I feel that Watkins definitely not playing this game as well. They kind of know kind of formation they're coming in. Probably a second run out would see him do better, right? Newcastle obviously have their fair share of issues, right? Both the keepers are still not back, so they have a worry over there. Lascelles probably still start on the bench as per Steve Bruce. Injury to John Joe Shelby as well. So yes, St. Maximin and Wilson looked good. So if you were a Villa defensive owner, you should be a little more worried. But if you have your Buendias, if you got in a Leon Bailey, and if you have an Ings, I would say one more week definitely deserves a hold. So I would say if you are looking at that punt for Jota down, Buendia would still be a good cut. Like I spoke about Son, right? And this is obviously again just a price saving move. With Kane not starting and Son is the one who's probably playing up top. I think the likes of Mora, Bergwijn and Dele Alli are the ones who probably be those creators, right? So with the Wolves, Watford, Crystal Palace punt that you are looking to go after, Dele Alli definitely a 6.5 again gives you those options if you fancy Spurs, that is. I would probably stay away from him myself because I feel there's more value in the likes of Sarr with the fixtures and a long term to even keep a differential player. But yeah, that's what I think of so far. Now I included Townsend in here, right? And that is again because if you look at the way Richarlison plays and look at the way DCL play and how they move around over there, I think Townsend had a pretty decent game. Against Southampton at 5.5 under 1% ownership. Him and even Gray, but Gray just looked a little off. But Townsend did look like he could provide and put those balls in, right, for DCL, put those headers in. So I think Townsend is again a very worthy shout out, especially at that price. If you're considering Mbeumo, right, who looked very good himself, and that's if you don't have Tony, I wouldn't suggest going doubling up on both of those Brentford assets. But again, if you want to go down from Jota, make space for Lukaku's up ahead, planning ahead, you want money in the bank even for your Sons, I think Townsend is definitely a shout out, especially looking at those fixtures, and just more of an eye test really for Everton of that first game. Obviously De Bruyne was a differential for me, like I said, but look at the press conference that just happened while we were starting this episode. May not start, but I think for all the ones who are brave out there and are going for a very budgeted strike force as well with just two strikers and do not have even Trent in attack, I think De Bruyne would be a worthy punt. But I would maybe lay hands off him for this game week and look at these other options, especially at the price point they offer and the attacking intent that they have. They could really give you some really decent returns, right? So I don't think you should risk going for a De Bruyne just yet. Differential forwards. Dennis obviously shocked a lot of managers and he looked very good and complemented Sarr very well. So Sarr and Dennis looked like a good combination to have. Obviously picked up a knock. We don't have confirmation yet if he'll start, but if he does start and if it clears up before the deadline, I think if you're looking to make money for a packed midfield, premium packed midfield like you want your De Bruyne's, I think instead of Aubameyang at 4.5, you can downgrade your defender like a Soufal down to 4.5 as well. Get Dennis to 7.5 attackers. Watkins when he comes back maybe. So there is merit over there. I think a worthy option to keep an eye on, like the fixtures already read out for Sarr, right? Now Saint Maximin again just makes the cut like Sarr at 5.1%. Saint Maximin did look the talismanic self we've seen. If Newcastle get a little more solidity in midfield and more structure to them, they gave West Ham a good run for their money, but fell out towards the end of the game, right? When they got the sucker punches. I do feel Saint Maximin at the start of the season, looking like the way he did, if you want the Newcastle cover for Wilson, I think he's still worthy of that punch, so you should keep him around in your side. But yeah, I think if I had to compare between the two, if you had Dennis fit and Saint Maximin, I would definitely go for Dennis, not just for the money, just looking at the way Sarr and him complemented each other, and also the fixtures do back them up. Now Maupay again only comes in here for me purely on the fixtures. Yes, he got the goal. He does tend to mix a few of those obvious chances, right? So obviously that is a little bit of a worry. But I think Watford and Brighton will be a good game, right? If Watford obviously do get in those goals, if you do have Sanchez, for example, I think having a Sarr or a Dennis really doesn't hurt your chances in case they concede like they did in the previous game. Yes, it was just the one goal, right? But I think these are the players who probably get those goals. So again, Maupay for me against Watford, who did concede in the last game as well against Villa, could get you those goals. And they play Watford, Everton, Brentford, Leicester, Palace, just for the sake of, I think, differential purposes and his ownership. And you don't want to go for Maximin and you're looking at the 6.5 bracket over to compete with Tony but do not want Tony in there. I think these are your options over there instead of an Ivan Toney, or in fact to complement Tony, because I still think don't take him out of your side if you have him specially. I think there is a lot of intent in him, a lot of potential assists could even come out of him if not goals, right? So I'd hold on to Tony. You could complement Tony instead of a Wilson or a Maximin with a Dennis or a Maupay over there. That's what I feel. But yeah, Maupay maybe just if you're really taking a punt for one game week and if you intend to do an early wild card, or I think Dennis and Maximin are the way to go for me. Moving on to the captaincy discussion, right? Obviously, you would say the fixture against Norwich should call out that a City player gets the armband 100%, and I would say that's possibly true to a City player is the most likely asset to captain, but you do not know again who starts, right? Grealish could start, but really don't know how he'll feature. Different kind of game against Tottenham with them sitting back. Mahrez obviously looks like the one who probably start all these first three games, right? Which is why I have Mahrez in there. But I still feel he's more of a differential pick, like with Danny Ings. I think Danny against Newcastle is a good worthy captaincy pick. But on the same breath as Mahrez, for me, yes, you could see City putting in those goals against Norwich, 3 or 4 goals. Just don't know who's going to start or how they'll figure or how he'll structure the team. Right? That's the thing with Pep, which is why I think it's again only between Salah and Bruno. Obviously, Southampton look like they're there for the taking. Southampton's home game, though, Salah playing, the first home game of the season, definitely looked good in the last game. Himself could definitely get in those goals against Burnley. Burnley looked a little rusty, if I may say. Yes, does Salah have the greatest record against Burnley? Not the greatest, but I think just by probably 1 or 2%, I think Salah edges this. But for me personally, I'm not 100% sure yet. It could definitely come down to a coin toss, and I don't mean that just for the sake of saying it. I've definitely had a coin toss in last season more than one time between these two, and they've never let me down. So hopefully that continues. But yeah, I just think if you are to 100% ask me for a decision right now, for you guys, for you managers out there, I would say Salah just about. But yeah, it's a very close call again, 2 game weeks running, right? And for me, Mahrez, Grealish, Ings are differential captains, but hey, definitely ones you can go for right over there. Now, quickly, we'll move on to what your team would look like if we make a few of these transfers or if we make a few moves, and how your team would be structured. So, like I said, I'm not really comfortable, with Jota and his minutes, right? He could potentially start, this game week again since he went off for the 60th minute, or potentially could be benched and Firmino starts the game. So, if I make moves, let's say I want to get in a Son, I'm planning for a Son, right? I look at a Sar right now, get in a Sar over here, potentially. But my worry also is about Barnes' minutes, right? Barnes didn't look too good against Wolves, but Wolves defended so well, right? So it's kind of not great for a player like Barnes or even a Madison for that matter. So I think I may just give him 1 week. I think if I do rotate, it will still be Jota, although the odds of Jota's returns are higher if he starts for me. Let's say I do take out Wilson and take him down to Dennis even. So that gives me 4.0 in the bank, right? 4.0 in the bank. That gives me the option. And let's say I've banked a transfer this week and I even make these moves in game week 3, right? So I can get Son in game week 4 after the international break. That gives me 4.0 in the bank. Now, with that 4.0 in the bank, I could potentially, after the international break, take out Antonio and get Lukaku, assuming he's still at 11.5. Although Chelsea's fixtures don't necessarily, pick up for me till game week 7, right? So they play Tottenham and City in 5 and 6. So 7, 8 is when Southampton, Brentford, Norwich, Newcastle, Burnley come in. But if I potentially see Lukaku's price rise and Chelsea being in good form, I may be tempted to do that. Or I could definitely just, like I said, take out Barnes there by then if he's still in my team. Get in Son, get me that cover for Tottenham. I'll have 6.0 in the bank at that point of time. So at 6.0, like I said, you could get in a Dennis at that point if you want a playing forward for Watford. You could also go down to Obafemi for a guy who's not playing. You could potentially, like I said, even have... I'll just make this move so it's easier for everyone to understand and for everyone who's watching, for everyone who's listening in as well. In game week 4, after you save your transfers and you've made those 2 free transfers in game week 3. Now, if I would just take that back, right, and let's say this is just my one transfer for this game week. Sar coming in for Jota because I'm worried about the minutes. That would give you 1.5. What would be a potential transfer in game week 3? Game week 4 onwards, you should also look at Wolves because Wolves have a great fixture run coming in after that, right? But you don't have any Wolves assets really to look at in the attacking sense so far right now. That would be more of a defensive outlook. So I have Soufal, for example, right now, right? I could definitely downgrade Soufal. I'll just pull up the Wolves defenders for everyone here. I could definitely just at Wolves look at, like I said, says that it's at 5, so I would look at it. I would look at Cody at 4.5. Looking at the way the centre back starts, so Kilman started as well. Hoover at 4.0 would be a good option for me there. I could even take out Soufal for Hoover if I see West Ham not giving too many clean sheets and Soufal not giving me those returns, right? But I would not waste a free transfer on defender. This is more if I do save those two and like shape up my team to get in that attacking player, right? So in case I hold on to Jota and I take out Barnes and get in, Sar over there for me. That gives me, like I said, 2.0 in the bank over there. But yeah, just coming back instead of planning for the future and just coming back to this game week. Like I said, right, if I would say give Barnes another shout out. If you're worried about Jota, Jota is the one you can move around. You can even go in for a Benrahma. That would leave you with 1.4 in the bank. You could obviously take that 1.4, add it to your defense if you have, right? If you want to go up to your City defender as well, you could upgrade a Soufals to a City defender in the week after that. But just to clarify everything, the fixture runs don't really support it, right? But that's potentially how, for the first time managers, how you look at transfers, and when you're making them, you think a little long term. I'm giving you the example of the high premium assets because those are the toughest to get in or to build or to plan for. But looking at the fixtures right now, you could still lay away from City, I think, till the international break for sure. So I think that's why for this game week, if I would make a transfer, I would probably end up with money in the bank for sure. Even if I take out Barnes in the end to Sar, or even Jota to Sar or to Benrahma, right? Would I consider Greenwood? Yes, but I think I would definitely look at Sar first, Greenwood second, and then Benrahma, because I already have Soufal Antonio. I don't want to triple up against Leicester. And I recommend you managers out there not to triple up either. I think two players, if you have your Cresswell Antonio, your Benrahma, Soufals, don't get an Antonio as well. I think you could lay off Antonio too. You can definitely look at keep Ings in for another game week for sure. Don't take those -4s if you don't really have to, right? If you have players who you think are not going to start, who you thought you start, so you've kept in your Sanchos in your team, and you have a Veltman, you don't have bench strength, then maybe consider taking a -4 in. But apart from that, definitely consider just making that one player move if you're worried about them not starting and you have no bench strength. So make that one free transfer. Definitely do not take a -4 unless you don't have to. Unless you're very confident and you think now's the time to take a chance and take that risk, then go for it, right? Why not? Like I already showed you, the options are obviously available. But if you make these -4s, right, have a plan for why you're doing it. Don't just take those hits, even though it's early in the season and you can catch up. Have a long-term plan is all I am saying so far. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. I know it's about 28 minutes, but I had to pack as much as information as I could, so you have a decent idea about a long-term plan, at least till the international break. Obviously, we'll cover more of this in Game Week 3 preview. But before you guys go, don't forget to hit on the subscribe button. Try to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube before Game Week 10. So please help the cause. Follow us on our socials. Hit us up in the DMs. We'll help you with your team. Give us a team. Send us a screenshot of your team. We'll happily help you with potential moves you could make. Also, don't forget to join our FPL Mini League. The code's right there. Thank you so much as always for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Cheers, everyone, and best of luck.